Alright guys, welcome back to the try recap video. We did end up having a losing day today, unfortunately. Had our first initial trade plan went as planned, we would have had a really big winning day, but ultimately our first trade never got entered. All of our take profit levels got hit. So I alternatively decided to look for a second trade, which ended up being a short, and let's get right into that. Get to my chart. All right, so come market open. Let's replay this to the beginning. Come market open. 1 second. All right, so come market open. We had a 1 hour SMT form pre-market, and ultimately, I feel like this is what kind of caused my first trade not to really get entered, is because we had this 1 hour SMT form, but what I really wanted to see happen today was this. I wanted to see us come down here, take out London lows, and then reject off of this area right here, whether it was hitting London low or just rejecting off of this 5 minute and continuing higher. Ultimately, this 1 hour SMT pre-market kind of stopped us from taking out this London low right here. And yeah, sorry, not this London low. This London, oops, this London low right here. I wanted to see it get swept out and either reject off of this first 5 minute fair value gap or the second 5 minute fair value gap. Either one, just ultimately forming a 5 minute rejection block. We could find an enter at the bottom and hold it to the top. But ultimately, coming into this, we have this 1 hour SMT, and come market open, we pump up a little bit at open, sweep out this high, fill out the imbalance, and then ultimately just rip up the rest of the morning. And once we took out this first high and the external one above it, those two resting highs, I started to look for a different long entry because I figured we're already this high up, we are not coming back down here for my original trade idea. So now I'm on the 5 minute waiting for some sort of retracement to form a 5 minute rejection block. And ultimately we just don't get one. We inverse this 5 minute, trade back into the BPR range of it, and bounce off of EQ of this BPR. But I was not paying attention to this. I was not looking for this model. So ultimately, that's why I didn't see this entry. And I honestly wouldn't have taken it even if I did see it, just because it was just still so premium. Like it wasn't even around EQ. And then by that time, we also swept out this internal 5 minute, this internal 5 minute. So after we swept out those two, I was really hoping to see us come back down into this 5 minute, form a rejection block off of this, or at least this 10 a.m. key open. And we don't do either of that. We bounce off this BPR range and then ultimately take out this London high. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, we just ripped up. We are way overbought. It's probably time to rebalance this initial imbalance, right? So if we come over here, we see we have this 5 minute high, which is a old key PM session high. Let's make this a race. So I have to drag it all the way across. We got this 5 minute high. We have this 5 minute high. And then we have this 5 minute high sitting inside of a 5 minute fair value gap, bearish fair value gap. So if we come over here, drag this across, we see we wicked off. Let me take this back one more. We wick off those first two highs and ultimately wick off of this. Let me draw it here, that's so it's more clear. We wick off these first two highs, sweep out those highs, and then wick off of equilibrium of this 5 minute rally gap. And on top of that, we got a bearish close. So that's what formed our bearish 5 minute rejection block. And then from there, I just took my gone box, took EQ, and set a standard 10-point stop. And we get tagged in. Oops, wrong one. wrong one again. There we go. So we get tagged in, and ultimately, the trade was looking good at first. Rate not here. Trade was looking good at first. And then this 5 minute candle went from about to close right here, about to close down here, to closing up here. You can see. Maybe it might show it better. It'll show how it wicks down first. Turn this to zero point 0.3. So this 5 minute candle wicks up, gets us tagged in, and then it comes back down. We're in a little bit of profit. We go into drawdown first, but it comes back down, and we almost had the bearish close right here on this 5 minute, and ultimately it just didn't happen. And had this 5 minute close bearish, I think that would have saved our trade right here, and would had let this one play out to true to the open. So that's what my main target was, and ultimately that's how I ended up having a losing day. I literally had the right idea to start off with, but just didn't get the right entry for any kind of long of any sort, because we didn't wick off of this key level right here. We didn't have any kind of solid retracement, and then if you know that, um, if you were pay attention to the news today, we had a 9:45 red folder, so ultimately I had to kind of wait till after 10 o'clock anyways to find a entry today. But ultimately, I wanted to see us come down here before we ripped up to these highs, and it just didn't happen, and that's kind of why I didn't catch my long. Because one, we didn't come down here to this area, and two, after sweeping out these two internal highs, I was looking for a long setup within this 5 minute fair value gap, but ultimately, we see that we just don't get that retracement into there. We get this tiny retracement that barely comes back into just below premium and equilibrium, and um me myself, I just don't trade the premium. I never do. I always like to look for a discount. I'm a discount trader and purely a passive technical trader. um but that's pretty much how we lost $1,000 today. The loss was small. It just turns out to be 1,000 because it's a $60 loss across 17 accounts, so it stacks up. But the best way to look at it is I'm still green on the week, so I'm really not too bothered by it. And I'm still very green on the month, so I'm really not too bothered by it either. And ultimately, losing is a part of trading. You're not going to win every single trade you take, so it happens. And the best thing we can do is just acknowledge that we are green on the month, and we're going to be green for the year. So who really cares if we have a red day? But if you guys learned something new, enjoy the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Alright, so I know I said that we did have a losing day at the beginning of this video, but I ended up coming back on for kind of lunch going into PM session. I was eating food downstairs, and I just looked at the charts 'cause I was kind of bored. I want to see what's going on. And we were coming back down to the 5 minute fair value gap that I wanted to see a rejection block form off of. Ultimately, I came back upstairs, got on my setup, and took the trade. I did go super light on the trade itself because, like I said before, I was already red on the day, and I did not want to turn a already red day into a bigger red day, so I went in super light. But ultimately, let's kind of get into what it looked like and how I took this. So it was like 12:30, getting close to 1. I saw this. I was like, okay, we're kind of trending back down, and um I was like, maybe we might come back down here. So I was watching it, and once I saw this fair value gap get invalidated, this 1 hour get kind of, or not a 1 hour, where what am I looking at here? The daily? What even is this freaking giant block here? Oh, this was already invalidated. Fair value gap. I don't know what I saw on there. Once I saw this low get taken out and this 5 minute get inversed, I figured we were going to push down further and give us a actual solid retracement for a potential long today. So I got back on my setup and ultimately waited for something to form. And here is how it went down. We come over here, we sweep out through day open right here, and then we come into this 5 minute fair value gap right there. And if we go on the 5 minute, we see we tap into it. We swept out through day open, which is a key level. We tap into this 5 minute fair value gap right here, which and reject off of it, forming our rejection block. The only thing that could have made this setup better was be if this was a bullish close. But also, if we see here on the 5 minute, we see here on the 5 minute that we also formed a 5 minute SMT, like here, like this. We see we swept out this low on ES, but we didn't sweep out this low on NQ. And that's kind of what forms our SMT. So we got in on the bottom on top of us forming a bullish SMT. So that gave us even more kind of significance for this trade. Um, but also I did not go my normal sizing because I did not want to turn a losing day into a bigger losing day. So that's all about discipline and proper risk management. But we see after we form that 5 minute rejection block, we get tapped in right here. We almost get stopped out. But then from there, it was kind of like bread and butter, and we just started pushing up. And you can see we hit our first level right here. We had a unfilled 5 minute right here, and ultimately my uh full TP was this equilibrium of this 5 minute. Well, my full TP was this 5 minute high. But I know that was a very far stretch, and ultimately I had these levels I wanted to take profit at as well. So that's why we did close a little bit down here. But we see we are trading up until we sweep out this low, come back to fill out this fair value gap to kind of get more orders in to push us higher because we need more orders to push us higher. That's how the market goes. And we see we sweep out this high right here, and as soon as we get into this 5 minute, kind of start teetering up and down. And I was thinking, well, maybe this 5 minute is going to hold us back and push us down further. So I started trailing my stops and ultimately got stopped out at just above 52 points. So it was really something like this. I was still in on this candle and then got stopped out in profit right here. On this candle, I got stopped out in profit. But that trade hit for a little bit over 1700. It was, let me see, I think it was 105 per account. Let me check my trade of it. That's the wrong one. Yeah, so it's 105.50 per account. Times that by 17. And that puts us at just above 1700, almost 1800 on that trade. But you got to put into the fact that we also lost our trade beforehand, so we were already down money. Had I taken this trade with normal sizing, it would have been a little bit over 4 grand and would have put us way in the green for the day. But this one brought us pretty much just above break even on the day, and we ended the day off almost $50 per account. But you still do that, it was 49.88 per account. Times that by 17, and that put us at 847.96 on the day, which is still really good. But overall, I did end up having a winning day, so we turned a losing day from red to green and ended the week off strong, and ultimately puts us closer to passing the last three that I have to get the max allocation. But now that is going to wrap up the actual trade recap. Oh my god, I never made my camera smaller. So let me just kind of, you could still see all of this over here by where the trade was, but let me show you the SMT I was talking about because my camera was blocking that. At least I think it was, so I'll go over it just in case again. This 5 minute SMT was this right here. We swept out this 5 minute low on ES, but we didn't sweep out this 5 minute low on NQ. So that forms our SMT, and this was our 5 minute rejection block right here. Pretty sure you saw that. And we just took EQ of it with 10-point stop. and we almost got stopped out, but ultimately this 5-minute close right here was super clutch with kind of more or less showing that we had a lot of buy pressure come in, causing these sellers to kind of get overruled and then push us overall to our full TP. Well, not full TP, but our one of our main levels of take profits, because full TP would have been this, and then full TP would have been this high right here. But not every trade is going to be a monster. So I will take what I can get and be happy that I had a green day, not a red day. But that is going to actually wrap up this trade recap video. And then I'll catch you guys next week on whatever trades I take. Peace.